Buckner, in addition to the walk and a double, scored 2 runs, stolen a base, driven in a run. He's also bounced to second. An active night for Bill Buckner, and he takes a ball from Ed Whitson. Ron Guidry started the game for the Yankees. He lasted 2 1/3. Actually, just 2 innings he lasted. Whitson came on in the 3rd. 1-1 on Buckner.
And we got a few flares from time to time being tossed out onto the field. That's why we are experiencing the occasional delays.
One ball, 1 strike on Buckner. He's batting .232, 6 home runs, 33 runs batted in. All right, back to Whitson. 1 down.
That might be a helper for Ed Whitson right there. We talked about the fact that even though right now it's a blowout ball game, you know, a pitcher can get some value out of this. That was one of the few off-speed pitches that Whitson's thrown. He got Buckner on a easy hopper to the mound, and you know, maybe you get a few hitters out with that. It puts some fresh ideas into your mind for the next time you go to the mound. Get you in the habit of using all of your pitches a little bit more.
Jim Rice is 3 for 3 and 4 runs batted in, and he is still 3 for 3. Thought he might have been 4 for 4, but that ball's hooked foul down the left side. Rice singled in 2 runs in the 1st inning, singled in another run in the 3rd, and singled in his 4th run of the ball game in the 4th inning. And he also has now hit in 9 straight games. Palirulo at 3rd base. He's got plenty of time. 2 outs. I think they're getting a little tired now.
Well, I would think so. They've got 12 hits. Of course, this guy right here, he's not going to, he swing like that all day. You ought to see him hit a golf ball. I mean, I've seen him in long drive contests. Of course, the stories are all around the country about the way he can hit a golf. I've seen him hit a 1-iron 295 yards in person. Now, I mean, you hear a lot of stories of people say, I saw so-and-so hit a drive, but I was there at a long drive contest to see it. Everybody else was hitting a driver. He has got some strength. So is this guy.
Don Baylor, 2 for 3, both his base hit singles. 2 out, nobody on in the 6th. And that's going to be a base hit. Oh, Don Baylor flared to right field.
He might be laughing a little bit about that one.
Baylor now 3 for 4 in the game.
Right fielder, Dwight Evans.
He's jawing with Mattingly a little bit. I think all the Red Sox personnel also can't say enough about what the job this guy has done. Not only the numbers he's put on the board, but the influence he has in that ball. Points up how important chemistry and attitude is to a ball club, and that man certainly has supplied it for the Red Sox.
Here's Dwight Evans, who's flied to right field and struck out twice. He's 0 for 3 against Yankee pitching. Romero does not have a base hit, but he's been on, walked, and scored. Evans does not have a base hit. Gedman does not have a base hit. The only 3 Red Sox batters who have not gotten base hits off Yankee pitching tonight. Romero, Evans, and Gedman. Popped up, shallow right center. Henderson chases Randolph off. Side is retired. No runs, a base hit, and a man left. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Red Sox lead the Yankees 8-1.
So far for the Red Sox, 5.5 innings, they hold an 8-1 lead. 3 runs off Ron Guidry in the 1st inning, then they chased him with a 2-run 3rd. Ed Whitson has come on, and the Red Sox have added 3 more. Roger Clemens, as we've talked about, the best pitcher in baseball with a perfect 11-0 record, 12 starts. He's averaged 8 1/3 innings per start. That's got to be pretty comforting for a manager, especially if you're struggling with your bullpen. Send the guy out there you know is going to pretty well get you into the 9th inning every start.
What was your best start as pitcher?
Record-wise?
Yeah.
I think 7-0, 8-0, and 75.
DeJesus takes the strike.
Of course, I had a guy named Gossage behind me in the bullpen.
That was at Chicago with the White Sox. He also had Terry Forster. It was going to two big guys, left-hander and a right-hander. Popped up right field, coming on Evans. DeJesus is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Red Sox have an 8-1 lead. Well, in 1912, Rube Marquardt of the Giants went 19-0.
It's unbelievable.
Star of the season. Elroy Face, 17-0 with the Pirates in '59.
Did you see some of that?
Yeah, I was responsible for some of that. But he had that forkball.
One they now call the split finger fastball.
Dave McNally in 1969, 15-0 for Baltimore.
When Billy was managing Minnesota that year, we broke McNally's string.
Henderson takes a ball. He broke it at 15.
Rich Reese, who was a left-hand hitter, came up and hit a grand slam home run. Beat him, I think, 4-3.
Brooks Lawrence, 13-0 for the Cincinnati Reds in 1956. Ron Guidry, 13-0 for the Yankees in 1978. It's the year the Yankees beat the Red Sox in that dramatic extra ball game up at Fenway Park. 1 ball, 1 strike on Henderson, who's 0 for 2. 1-2. That's a game that, if you play long enough, I think most games sort of run together. But that game in Boston, I think everybody, or probably about 3 million people who saw it in person at Fenway Park.
Yeah.
And I think everybody will always remember that game. Bucky Dent's home run. Lou Pinella's playing right field, looking up into the sun. Goose Gossage getting Yastrzemski to pop up for the final out.
I think you're right. I wasn't involved with either team at the time, but the game certainly stands out in my mind.
Well, I don't remember too much about baseball because it all, tends to go together. But I remember the Maxfield catching the final out, the '64 series, and I remember Gossage getting Yastrzemski for the final out. Nettles a foul ball off third base in 1978. And that's it.
That's all you remember.
A couple of fights. I remember a couple of fights. A couple of pretty good fights between these two clubs. Evans has room and right, but it's caught by Dwight Evans. Backpedaling all the way. 2 down.
Well, that didn't rob Ricky of a home run, but we have seen some outfielders like Winfield and Pasqua, Griffey a couple times. Now Evans. You've seen some guys make some outstanding catches in the outfield this year.
Oh, with 2 outs, nobody on base, we'll get Don Mattingly batting against Roger Clemens. Mattingly's 0 for 2. Yankees have just 4 base hits off the right-hander. Mattingly now at 319, a dozen home runs, 52 runs batted in.
I think it's amazing how you can think back, and as you mentioned, things tend to run together, but there are really a lot of things that maybe pitchers are different. I can think back and remember a lot of specific pitches that happen, home runs.
Well, I think if I had thrown up a few home runs, I'd remember them. That's low. It's 2 balls, no strikes on Mattingly.
I don't have time to tell you the rest of this inning because there's 2 out, but great story with Robin Roberts in a game I hooked up with him at the beginning of my career and the end of his. Test your memory, but
well, he threw up a lot of home runs.
Yes, he did.
1 hopper off Buckner and dropped by Clemens. You better tell that story while you got time.
Well, I hooked up with Robin Roberts in 1962, and he was with the Orioles. Ended up beating him 3-1 in the 13th inning. 1-1 tie, man on first. He thought I was bunting. Threw me a high fastball, and I hit it over Jackie Brandt's head. Now, 14 years later, we're at a press banquet in Philadelphia because I got traded to the Phillies. Robbie walks in, sits right next to me, and he looks at me and said, I should have thrown you a slider. I didn't know you could hit for a pitcher. And that's 14 years later since I'd seen it. But
he remembered it.
He remembered that exact pitch.
Well, he used to throw about 40 a game, but he was still a winning pitcher. Had a not too good a ball club to pitch for, and he's in the Hall of Fame, Robin Roberts.
He won 20, I think 7 years in a row. One year he won 28. Like you said, he gave up a lot of home runs, but the majority of them were solo, right?
Yep. Nobody on. They'll give the pitcher an error on that throw. from, as he dropped the throw from Buckner. And here's Winfield. Strike one on Winfield. Winfield's 0 for 2. Grounded to short and struck out. Clemens has struck out 3 Yankees. He's been around the plate. He hasn't walked anybody, and he leads 8-1.
It's about the only thing he's done wrong all night, probably all year right there, is drop that throw.
His ERA 2.26. And this is his 13th start. Out of play. 2 strikes on Dave Winfield.
You're talking about remembering before the game, mentioned Joe Sambito and also Bob Stanley. You know, when the guys come to Yankee Stadium, the players in the other team love to talk about their first experience here. Stanley grew up in this area. Sambito talks about coming out when he was a kid and watching the old Yankee teams. And even for the visiting players, there's an awful lot of tradition and history and nostalgia when they come back to this stadium.
Might be the best known stadium in the country. Do you think of any other?
No, I can't. Of course, I still, you know, the old stadium, when you came into the old one, it almost reminded me of the first and one of the few times I walked into Augusta National golf course. There's almost a certain reverence to it. It's nicer now. It's remodeled, but I don't think it has the character that it did when it was the old stadium.
Out of play. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes on Dave Winfield.
Of course, nothing does. You know, we just came from Baltimore. You saw what a nice job they've done with their Inner Harbor area, but we see that a lot around the country. The things reach a certain point and they get remodeled, but they never really have the character that they did, in my mind anyway, that when they're original.
1-2 on Winfield. 2 outs. Mattingly at first. 6th inning. Red Sox lead 8-1. Barrett. Sides retired. Popped to second. No runs, no hits, and there, and a man left on base. Score at the end of 6. Red Sox 8. Yankees 1. Let's pause for a station identification.
July 3rd extravaganza is coming. The Yankees host the Detroit Tigers in a 6 p.m. game. And following the game, Thornapple Valley Hot Dogs is presenting the famous Grucci family fireworks display and a special music concert. That'll feature legendary artists Jerry Lee Lewis and Fats Domino, both Hall of Famers. And the ticket to the game will admit you to the stadium for the entire triple header, the ball game, the fireworks, and the concert. So be a part of this Independence Eve extravaganza right here at Yankee Stadium. Good seats are available. 8-1 Red Sox, the end of 6. Whitson on in relief of Guidry. Clemens all the way for the Red Sox. Tony Armas, he's had a big night. 2 singles and a triple, a couple of RBIs. And Ivan De Jesus with a leaping grab right there keeps Armas from going 4 for 4, reminiscent of the way this guy used to leap and grab him. The scooter. Isn't that the way you
I couldn't get that high, Jim. What? Who cost? You lost $1 to Bill White. Why? I was here for the first pitch. Hey, look.
You were there for that pitch, too. Look at that.
Is that a classy-looking outfit? Look at the cameraman, Frank LaFrosia. Ground ball to Willie, and he throws him out. So 2 quick outs.
You remember Ron Bloomberg, Scooter?
Yes.
First DH.
Yes.
Just down in Atlanta, Georgia. Nice article in the paper. You know what he's doing right now in his spare time?
No.
He's playing softball for Gulf States Mortgage Company, modified fast pitch team. Says he enjoys the game, meets a lot of new people living down there in Atlanta, Georgia. Ron Bloomberg, first
he
designated hitter in the history of the
I remember. I think it was against the Red Sox that he made his debut as a designated hitter. But he loved the game so much, but his problem was like Pete Reese. He ran into walls, no matter where the wall was.
He had some talent, didn't he?
Big,
strong, could run.
He could hit and run. Off the glove of Pags, he almost came up with another gem as Quinones.
Second baseman, Monty Barrett.
Jeffrey Lyons is easy to see. Just lined a single to left field. That's 9 hits off of Whitson, 5 off Guidry. Each has been charged for that is 14, Jimmy Huddy, yes.
I think Lou Piniella will be very happy he's got Joe Niekro going tomorrow, Scooter. These guys are geared for that hard stuff. And just about that time, you'd want a pitcher that throws a little different variety at him. Either what the modern term would be a junk baller, or in Niekro's case, a knuckleballer. At least he's got a much better chance to destroy their timing than the fastball pitchers.
All right, time is called. We got another smoke bomb. That's 3. Where are they throwing it from? It's got to be coming from the same spot.
Well, it's too bad. We had an experience like that. I think it was in back in Detroit. And, you know, I think baseball fans all around the country are enthusiastic fans, but it's the actions of just a few that sometimes give a whole city a bad reputation.
What scares me about them is, how do you know it's not one of those delayed bombs?
Well, you don't?
No, you don't. What? 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out. The run is going, and it's foul in the mezzanine.
Wow. It's kind of surprising baseball.
Very
there,
surprising.
Huh? With an 8-1 lead. Now, what if you were hitting right now and your team was leading 8-1?
I think I'd sit down.
Next pitch be about chin high, right?
I'd start backing up as the pitcher was warming up. I don't know whether he was doing it on his own. You wouldn't think McNamara would put it on. Barrett has singled, doubled, and bounced to third twice. And Lyons went to right field, but right at Winfield. He's got it. No runs, a hit, no errors, a man left. End of 6½. Red Sox 8 and the Yankees 1.
I will be with you again tomorrow night. As you see right there, 7:30, 11 alive. The Yankees and the Red Sox. It'll be veteran Joe Niekro, record of 7-3, and for the Red Sox, newcomer Rob Woodward, who's got a record of 1-2. Of course, he's starting because Al Nipper and Bruce Hurst, 2 of the regular Boston starters, are on the disabled list. We've got a defensive replacement for the Red Sox here in the 7th inning. Steve Lyons has gone in to play center field in place of Tony Armas. There's a look at Steve Lyons. So despite the fact, Scooter, that the Red Sox are missing 2 of their key pitchers, keep rolling right along.
Yeah, you know, everybody said, oh, gee, they're missing 2. Well, how about the Yankees? All the injuries they've had.
I know. I know.
And the thing is that I thought, I said, oh, I didn't mind. I mean, I don't want to see anybody out, but when I heard Boggs wasn't going to play, I figured the Yankees had a big advantage with Boggs not playing. And here, all of a sudden, they got their hitting shoes on. They haven't been hitting or hitting home runs all year, getting by in their pitching and defense as Isla bounces out. And Clemens holds on to it that time. Mike had 2 singles, so he's 2 for 3 now. And Clemens pitching kind of an unusual ball game after all we've read about him with all those strikeouts. Excellent control, but look at that. Now, who do I look like? Walter Winchell or Al Pacino or
Spencer Tracy?
Oh. And again, look. Buckner's having trouble standing up. He's been sliding around the infield all night, but making the plays. 2 outs.
Clemens will think he's back in spring training again. He's had a chance to make this play 4 times tonight. He's made it 3 out of 4. That's the first day the pitchers get to spring training. That's the play they work on right there for about 2 solid days. You mentioned the unusual game. He had made a comment that he thought with the outstanding fastball hitters that the Yankees have, that he may have to throw more breaking balls. And, you know, he got Winfield on a changeup last inning. So the kid is not just a thrower, he's a pitcher.
He certainly is. A pitch, he struck Henderson out first inning. I said, uh-oh, this guy's got more than a fastball. Oh, look at Cott. Did you see him?
Hey, when you've
82 feet away, and he stuck that left arm out.
When you've had to duck as many line drives as I have, you'd flinch too when it started coming back this way.
1 strike on Pagliarulo. Pags doubled and scored the Yankees' only run back in the 2nd inning. And whoa, I hope that didn't hit anybody. Oh, man. That was hit so hard, nobody had time to duck.
Amazing, isn't it, that there aren't more injuries in the stands?
It is, because people talking, enjoying the ball game, and somebody had hit a foul ball and it just missed by inches. There he took something off, had Pags way out in front. And Griffey came up with that one. Nothing in 2 the count. Not too happy, the coaching staff for the Yankees.
It's only one game.
Yep. Thank goodness. They don't go by total runs or hits or...
That's why it's so important in this game to just keep an even keel for 162 games. You're going to have your share of peaks and valleys. Turn the page, go on to the next one.
Boy, he jammed him, but luckily it was foul.
Not that this one's over. You never give up hope if you're a Yankee player, but you got to be realistic and understand you're facing the only pitcher in baseball with double-figure wins and a perfect record. Nepper's got 10 also, but he's lost 4, I think. But 11-0, you don't like your chances, so make the best of it. If you're up there in the batter's box, work on something. If you're Whitson, work on something. Keep up with your work habits.
High fly, straightaway center. And Lyons makes the catch. Another 1, 2, 3 inning. He's had a lot of easy innings at the end of 7. It's the Red Sox 8 and the Yankees 1.
All right, back at the stadium here at the end of 7. Red Sox leading at 8-1. And a couple of changes for the Yankees. Gary Renicke's going into center field. Give Ricky Henderson a little rest. Red Sox changed center fielders in the previous half inning when they sent Steve Lyons in. It's been all Roger Clemens and the Red Sox. There's a look at Renicke. The Yankees have but 4 hits off Clemens. They bunched 3 of those in the second inning, and when Hasse doubled down the left field line, ground rule double to score Pagliarulo after he had doubled. Easler had led off that inning with a single, but erased on a double play by Griffey. So Clemens has been in complete control, and Ed Whitson now into his 5th inning of work has worked very effectively the last 2. Scooter.
All right, Ed Romero has walked and scored. Fly to left, popped to first, fly to right. And strike 1 from Ed Whitson. As a base hit ripped to right field. Base hit number 15.
Boggs is sitting on the bench saying, man, what am I missing? I got to sit out this ball game. And my teammates got 15 hits. Not too often the Red Sox have 15 hits, and Wade Boggs doesn't have any of them.
Bill Buckner is 1 for 3. Bounced to second, walked, doubled, and hit back to the box. Stole his first base of the year. He's got a bad leg or something. It looks like he's running with one leg and dragging the other.
He was a top-notch player, still is, but he was an outstanding all-around player with the Dodgers till he broke that leg. And has been hobbled by it ever since, but he's still a quality hitter, batting champion.
Like Tommy Davis when he broke his ankle. He could still hit, but at great speed that they had. He was a good base runner, too, I remember when he broke in. Buckner.
And unfortunately, one guy that broke his ankle like that but could never return to form was the Texas manager Bobby Valentine.
Yeah, that was a shame. But look what he's doing now with Texas. Foul and out of play.
Yeah, he's making some believers of people down there. He's got all those young, hard-throwing pitchers, and just like with we talked about Baylor's influence on the Red Sox, chemistry, attitude. Hard to say which comes first, winning or the chemistry, but it's important on a major
you got to
league
have
level.
it. Oh, absolutely.
Any level, really, but much more on the major league level because the talent is so even up here.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out.
You hesitated at that like you didn't agree with me that the talent was all even.
Well, because it's not all even.